Is this you every time at the airport, waiting in distress when your flight gets cancelled? Or is this you waiting long queues to get a transaction done at the bank? You ought to be at the exclusive side of life where we understand the luxury of time and privacy, going beyond to give you the best customer experience. From the ambience of our lounges with your favorite meals and drinks to keep you relaxed on your travels, to the comfort of our branch lounges to help you get your transactions done quickly and in style with a personal account officer. You can also use our priority service to fast-track all your transactions. As an Exclusive Plus member, you also enjoy unlimited access to all our lounges in over 1,200 locations around the world, free tickets to movie premieres, art exhibitions and concerts, 24/7 access to medical experts, discounts on luxury hotels and restaurants. Join Exclusive Plus today. Visit our website to get started. Access, more than banking.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make out. You down, stand with the ground. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make out. One day. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
Are you a worker in need of financing for your business, home, car needs, gadgets, or do you just need extra cash to sort your need? We at Access Bank understand how difficult this may be. That's why we have tailored solutions to ensure your needs are met easily and speedily. Our everyday banking products provide a variety of easy loan repayment plans to salary earners. We offer digital loans for
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support. a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
The next one could be yours.
Business women can now access a flexible vehicle finance loan specially designed with their interests at heart. Are you a woman in business, or do you know a woman in business who is interested in purchasing a vehicle? If your answer is yes to any of these two questions, then this message is for you. With our exciting loan offers, women in business can now purchase brand new or pre-owned vehicles from the bank's approved vendors with an equity contribution as low as 10%, a competitive interest rate of 15%, and a tenure of up to 48 months. To get started, send us an email on wcares@accessbankplc.com. Share the good news and get on board.
Mommy, my tummy hurts so much. I'm scared.
It is well, my daughter.
Me self, I'm scared. We should be at the hospital already. Why can't we use one of these cars?
Who will drive it? You?
Sis, so you can't drive yet.
I beg, leave me.
Focus, Joe. Book that ride.
It is important that women do not only learn how to drive, but to fully understand the driving rules and be a professional on the road.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
This road is a one-way.
This one is one way.
Where did you learn how to drive?
This is why the W initiative of Access Bank has partnered with the Federal Road Safety Corps (FRSC) to provide intensive driving training for women. At the W community, or send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Do not miss out on this opportunity. Hurry now and let's get you driving.
Is this you every time at the airport, waiting in distress when your flight gets cancelled? Or is this you waiting long queues to get a transaction done at the bank? You ought to be at the exclusive side of life where we understand the luxury of time and privacy, going beyond to give you the best customer experience. From the ambience of our lounges with your favorite meals and drinks to keep you relaxed on your travels, to the comfort of our branch lounges to help you get your transactions done quickly and in style with a personal account officer. You can also use our priority service to fast-track all your transactions. As an exclusive Plus member, you also enjoy unlimited access to all our lounges in over 1,200 locations around the world. Free tickets to movie premieres, art exhibitions, and concerts. 24/7 access to medical experts. Discounts on luxury hotels and restaurants. Join Exclusive Plus today. Visit our website to get started. Access. More than banking.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. push you down. Stand with the ground. Yes, we believe in you. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold ya. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, yeah. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make out. One day. One day you go make out. One day you go make out. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.
Are you a worker in need of financing for your business, home, car needs, gadgets, or do you just need extra cash to sort a need? We at Access Bank understand how difficult this may be. That's why we have tailored solutions to ensure your needs are met easily and speedily. Our everyday banking products provide a variety of easy loan repayment plans to salary earners. We offer digital loans for
I'm tired of trying. I need help. I want to try IVF. I know it's expensive.
Are you struggling with a health challenge? Do you need financial help to access treatment? If yes,
Apply now for MHSS, the Maternal Health Service Support, a discounted loan by the W initiative of Access Bank with low interest rates, no loan fees, flexible repayment plan. This is your best bet for financing your health needs. For more information, visit our website on www.thewcommunity.com or any Access Bank branch nationwide. You can also send an email to wcares@accessbankplc.com. Terms and conditions apply. The MHSS has successfully financed hundreds of health procedures.
the next one could be yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the W Learning Series, an initiative of the W Initiative. My name is Halima Rabiu, and today would be basically delving into what it is to run a business more efficiently. I am with the Enterprise Development Center. So Enterprise Development Center is the entrepreneurship center of the Pan-Atlantic University. So we train and work with small businesses to boost their capacity. So for this edition of the W series, we have partnered with the W Initiative to bring this 2-day capacity building training for women entrepreneurs. So the session is going to be very, very packed with key insights and strategies that you can use to grow your business and also expand your reach. So I'd just like to open up the floor to welcome the group head of the W Initiative, Abiodun Olubitan, to give the welcome address, and then we'll take it up from there. Welcome, Abiodun.
Thank you, Halima, and good afternoon, everyone online and in the room this afternoon. Good afternoon, women entrepreneurs that are doing fantastic things, to turn around the economy of the nation. And of course, W is always here to support you. And there is really no reason why we would not look for one of the best people around to partner with to bring such exciting training again to you this afternoon. From wherever you're joining, I say welcome to the Business Class Masterclass 2.0. For some of you that have been with us for some time, I know you were part of the masterclass. We had the first edition, and it was very, very impactful and insightful. A lot of us shared learnings, and we even get feedback that when we practicalize those things that we learned, it was very impactful in our business. And that's the reason we will come back again, you know, to keep giving us stuff that will keep empowering us as business women, as businessmen alike as well, you know, to keep doing great stuffs in our businesses. I want to welcome specially our guest, Mr. Debbie Oladipo. And I know that, I just hope that you guys have your writing materials, you have your pen with you, and you're ready to take note of every point that will be discussed here this afternoon, because it's going to really help us. You know, when we say business operation for efficiency, a lot of us are running these businesses, but are we efficient at doing it? The cost, the monies we are putting into the business, they commensurate to the kind of profit that we're getting at it. So a lot of us business may have these questions in our hearts, and of course we've brought the experts to help us out to, you know, break it all down to us. So I want to welcome you. If you notice as well, this is not the usual time for our webinars in W, but because we've also considered you and the time that is best for you, especially the women in business, that's why this it is this afternoon that we are bringing this to you. So you know that we do everything that we do with you in our mind. And of course, I want you to take advantage of this session, to take a lot of learnings and get ready to transform your businesses. My work is just to welcome you, and of course, you are welcome. Thank you so much. Over to you, Halima.
Right, thank you very much, Abidun, for that welcome address. So like she mentioned, make sure you have your jotter, your writing materials ready, because this session is going to be loaded. So apart from talking about business operations for efficiency, which would be taken by Debbie Oladipo, we also have exciting prizes for women on this program. So we have prizes for 10 lucky ladies who actually participate in some of the offerings that we have today. But I'll just come back to that later. I would like to welcome Busola Ogundipe, who will be introducing the W initiative and the offerings for women SMEs. Welcome, Busola.
Thank you very much, Halima. Please confirm that you can hear me and you can see me.
We can hear you and we can see you.
All right, great. Thank you very much to everyone joining us today. My name is Olubusola Faraway, and I will be taking us through the W initiative and what the W initiative of Access Bank is all about. At Access Bank, our vision is actually to be the bank of choice for women in the markets that we serve. And we do this through what we call the W initiative. Now, the W initiative is the home of everything Access Bank has to offer women. And it currently serves us across all African subsidiaries that Access Bank is currently present in. Now, this particular program started off in 2006, where we launched what we call the Gender Empowerment Program for Women in Business. And we did this in partnership with the IFC to provide on-lending services to women in business, as well as advisory services. Now, after the success of this particular program, the bank realized that there's much more to women than just businesses. And so in 2014, Access Bank expanded what we call the W initiative, and it was launched to serve the women's lifestyle needs and financial needs, of course, as a financial institution that we are. And our vision is basically, and our mantra really is basically to inspire, connect, and empower women across the markets and communities we serve. Now, we do this across 4 segments, and this segment basically entail women in business, which we currently, of course, started off with, the W on professionals, the W and family, millennial and Gen Z, as well as the quintessential women. Now, we do this access to finance. We have the access to finance offerings for women across all walks of life, across all segments that we serve. And our offerings really ranges based on pricing for women, based on flexibility and accessibility. So we have what we've called the W Power Loan. which is targeted at women businesses. Now, of course, we know that we're speaking to women in business here today. So it's no news that we have to bring all that we have to offer for you at Access Bank W Initiative in order for you to grow and scale your businesses. Now, the W Power Loan is actually our flagship loan program for women businesses to access finance for as low as 15% per annum. Now, this loan is available to businesses that have been registered for at least 1 year, and you can get up to 100 million naira. With flexible collateral requirements, businesses can also access funds for working capital, business expansion, asset acquisition, as well as businesses that want to, stock up. The W Power Loan is available to you, and you have up to 36 months repayment tenure for women businesses. We also have the instant business loans, where we know that businesses require short-term cash flows to be able to cover business needs and operational costs. The instant business loan is available to such businesses at 10% per annum, with up to 10 million naira, no collateral required. There's also the aspect where your repayment tenure can go as high as 6 months, because of course we know that these are small ticket loans that women just want to get and repay back immediately they have access to funds. And one product that really helps us meet the mobility needs for women is what we call the W vehicle loan. Now we know that with the entrance of COVID for businesses, we know that a lot of businesses have now moved their businesses from physical locations to online, and they have now taken up the responsibility of even doing deliveries and even doing businesses on the road. So we have brought this W Power Vehicle Loan for women to access funds to acquire vehicles for their businesses. So you want to get a truck for your delivery, for your business, you have a service business you want to use to, you need to move your equipment from one location to the other, the W Vehicle Loan is available to you, and you have up to 48 months tenure. Now, we know that businesses are looking to expand into a bigger market, bigger territories. Businesses want to go global, like we all say, right? And we know that one of the challenges that businesses will face is repatriating their funds or even making payment for things abroad. And Access Bank has what we call the Access Africa. I must say that the Access Africa is one of the platforms where Access Bank has been able to make our customers do and facilitate cross-border payments within Africa and beyond. Now, this program is available to customers, so existing Access Bank customers, and even new to bank customers, even people that do not have accounts with us. This product is available to you. You're able to transfer funds, pick up cash from Ghana, from Sierra Leone, from the UK into your local currency, as the case may be. Now, of course, USD transactions for customers of Access Bank is a maximum of 20,000 per month. And for local currency transactions, it's also limited to certain personal use or business use, as the case may be. And for non-customers, of course, it's limited to a maximum of $5,000 per month. And then, of course, the local currency, like I said, would be an equivalent of $1,000 in 90 days. Now, there are some fees that apply to this, but trust me, businesses can actually get these funds, at very affordable rates, giving you cost savings and cost management for your business. Now, the next bit where, as Access Bank, we are very, very passionate about bundling our offerings for our customers. So as much as we provide access to finance for you, we also go the extra mile to give you access to insurance, which we have bundled under our business protection plan. Now, the business protection plan helps give you an insurance cover over MSME businesses against fire, burglary, and special perils. And you can get an insurance for your business with as low as 5,000 naira. Yes, 5,000 naira premium annually, you can get coverage for your business up to 1 million naira. And the list goes on for businesses that have bigger stock availability, you want to be able to cover as much as you can opt for the basic plan, which is up to 50,000 naira premium, the regular, which is 100,000 naira, and we have the advanced and the advanced plus, which is the 200,000 naira and the 500,000 naira. And of course, the coverage for this particular insurance package is amazing. Like, you can imagine paying 5,000 naira to be covered against fire or loss of your program, of your assets, of your stock, worth 1 million naira. So I then encourage all businesses here on to take on the habit of covering your business, giving your business that form of security with an insurance, because I know that some businesses are yet to accept the need for an insurance in your business. Next up, I will speak to our Diamond Business Advantage program, which is currently our current account that is focused at businesses that are looking to save costs. Now, if you hear me, I keep re-emphasizing cost savings, cost management, because we know that for SMEs, as much as business is ongoing, you want to minimize your costs as much as possible so you can drive your profit. So the Business Advantage offering is available for you to open, and we have different categories. So we have from the micro businesses to the small scale and then to the medium scale businesses. We have fixed fees. So instead of you paying the regular COT on your business or current account maintenance fees, you actually just pay a fixed amount on your account. And the other W products that I would like to show or like to mention is what we call the W card. Now, this card is a card that makes you show your ability or your membership of the W. So this is basically our community card that gives everyone that has a W card access to what the W initiative has for you, from discounts to access to events that we host, and then you can use this card as your regular business and regular personal debit card, where you can use to shop online, you can use to pay bills and also make withdrawals as you want. Another initiative that we currently have at the W initiative is called the Ladies Let's Drive. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that Access Bank is doing all we can to ease mobility stress for women. We also launched this product to help women know how to drive, getting women to have that basic skill of driving and getting on the road without any fear. So we've partnered with leading driving schools in Lagos, Benin, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Kano, Calabar, Kaduna, and Akwa Ibom to give women access to discounted trainings for driving. So you have access to up to 40% for driving school, and Access Bank is also subsidizing this further with a 5,000 naira discount for the first 500 women to showcase or to come on board on this program. So what are you waiting for? To stay connected to all of these great benefits that W has to offer you, please follow us today on all social media platforms in order to get access to all the information and notifications of all that we have. And of course, you're watching us live on YouTube, so why don't you just click on that subscription button right now to keep you up to date on all the events that we may have. And if for any reason you have an inquiry on all of these offerings that we have said during the course of this session, please feel free to send us an email at wcares@accessbankplc.com. Like my group head rightly said, the W has so much in store for you. So you do not want to stop, or you do not want to end the relationship with W. Watch out for all our sessions. Now, today's session is just one of the 2 days masterclass that is power-packed in partnership with EDC. So tomorrow promises to be as exciting as today. Please don't miss it for anything. And our upcoming programs that we have that you need to watch out for is what we call the Womenpreneur Pitchathon Season 5. We've hosted this for 5 different editions. I must say to you that we've been able to give access to finance and grants to over 335 women with access to a free IFC mini MBA. Trust me, W is here for you, so you do not want to go anywhere. And now for the Ilorin businesses, do we have businesses here that currently trade in Ilorin? The Ilorin Marketplace Trade Fair is coming to you in June 25th to 27th of June, we'll be in Ilorin, helping SMEs access new markets. We'll be talking about that in details tomorrow, of course, but we are helping SMEs gain access to new markets, gain visibility, and you do not want to miss out on this. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the session. Over to you, Halima.
Thank you very much, Busola. So you can hear all the initiatives that W has for you. So make sure you follow them on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and also subscribe to the YouTube page. Like she mentioned, we have a 2-day capacity building class, but it doesn't end from there. So, you know, at least for more opportunities and events, you can always follow them. And like I mentioned earlier on, we will be having a giveaway for 10 lucky ladies, courtesy of the Venture. So the Venture is a micro-learning app, which we'll be talking about later on during the session. So if you have an Android or an iOS store, you can download it. And some of the prizes that we have today during this webinar is airtime worth 2,000 for 5 lucky ladies. And then we have one lady would win one-on-one free advisory session. One person would win a free social media optimization for their business. And then 2 ladies would win that, and 2 ladies would win 2 promotional flyers and sponsored ads for their businesses as well. So you do not want to miss some of these giveaways that will be given. So as long as you're download and register on the Venture app, you should be standing a chance to win one of these exciting prizes. So over to the main session now for the masterclass that we'll be having today. So we'll be having the Business Operations for Efficiency Masterclass by Mr. Debi Oladipo. So by the end of the session, you should be able to understand how to streamline your business operations, prioritize some of the tasks that you have, and create systems whereby the business does not depend on you, and also be able to analyze data to give you more efficiency and also growth within your business. So, and to do this session, I will be Mr. Oladipo. So Mr. Oladipo is a faculty at the Enterprise Development Center and is also a certified business development support provider, courtesy of the SMEDAN body. So Mr. B has a very strong track record in the delivery of successful intervention projects across various industry segments, bringing value to organizations. He has been involved in various projects over the years and has spent almost 3 decades in various aspects of the business ecosystem. B has undertaken consulting, strategy development, and capacity development projects across various industries in Nigeria and internationally as well. And it's not limited to specific sectors. He has carried on projects within the IT space, professional services, manufacturing, FMCG, hospitality, food and beverages, pharmaceuticals, public sector, amongst others. And Mr. B currently sits on various boards within and outside Nigeria, and he's married with children. So please let's give Mr. B a welcome round of applause as he comes up. And during the session, kindly put in your questions in the chat box on YouTube, and we would be taking on the questions after he has done his presentation. So welcome, Mr. Oladipo.
Thank you very much, Halima. Please, can you confirm if you can hear and see me?
Yes, we can hear and see your presentation as well, and see you.
Okay, you can see my presentation. All right, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the globe. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to share some thoughts around the issues on business operations for efficiency. Most of us will realize that sometimes businesses don't go the way we want them to go, not because we haven't put in the capital requirements that the startup requires, but sometimes there are some practices in the business that we haven't done correctly or we haven't paid attention to. And that means things won't pan out the way we have structured them to be. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you for the next few minutes to look at things around operations management and how that can drive us to efficiency. I know everybody wants to. Yes, if I ask the question, why are we in business? I will hear the the impact answer, and also the fact that we want to fulfill a need. Yes, it's good to be impactful, it's good to fulfill a need, but we have to be sure that we put that business on the path of sustainability. And in putting the business on the path of sustainability, we need to put in the right operations practices that would ensure that we are on the path to have that business make money. It's good to make money. Don't get me wrong. It's very good to make money. A lot of people, when you ask them questions around businesses, they'll say, oh, we want to create impact. Yes, we want to create impact, but create impact, solve problems, but make money while doing it. And that would help you too. And one way to do that is to ensure that you have the right business operations practices to help in driving your dreams. All right, this is me. Plenty of introductions have been made, so I'm going to just skip that and then we'll go on to the next things. I usually like to start these discussions with a few questions which would help to jumpstart the thoughts as we go along. So first thing is this. What does your customer want? I'd like you to go into the chat room and put it there. What your customer wants. What does your customer want? I always like to hear when a customer comes to me and says things like, oh, thank you for taking my money. I don't know how many of us are in that position where a customer has actually come out to tell us, thank you for taking my money. What does your customer want? That's the first question. Yes, products. Yes, service. Yes, but in what way do they want it? Then the next question is, the people who supply you goods and services, who are the input providers for your own business, what do they want? What exactly do they want? Have we ever given this a thought? Apart from supplying us goods and taking our money, what else do they want? Do we have an understanding of that? The third thing is, as a business owner, I know we are substantially women businesses represented here today. And like I always joke with people, I feel very safe amongst women because I have 11 sisters. So it's always very interesting when you share thoughts and share ideas with women. All right. You as a woman business owner or a female business owner, what exactly do you want out of the business? I know there are a lot of answers going into the chat room on all of this, and that's quite appreciated. Your employees, what do they want? Apart from you paying them salaries, are there other things that they're looking for? Do they want to be part of what you're producing? Do they want to see themselves as achieving something as part of this business that you've given them the opportunity to be part of? What exactly are they looking for? What exactly do they want? We're in an environment and we have the government in that environment. What does the government want? Somebody will tell you, oh, taxes. Yes, government wants taxes, but government wants just beyond taxes. Government also wants people to get off the streets, so they want you to employ more people. Is there a way we can get this done without hurting ourselves? What are the other things? Keeping the environment clean, ensuring that the government doesn't have to spend money cleaning up the environment because of the consequences from your own operations. What does the government do? And the final question, how do we all of us, from the customer to the goods and services suppliers, to business owner, you the business owner, to the employee, to the government, how do we all want to achieve the things that we want? The answer to this question helps us to drive to the discussion of efficiency. to ensure that the customer gets what he or she wants, which in most cases is getting goods and services at an affordable price. And I usually use the word affordable because it's not necessarily cheap. It's being able to afford what you want. And for the person who is selling, is also driving that the customer is able to pay for the goods or service that you deliver. This discussion around the customer always drives me to a place where I ask the question, who determines value? So somebody says, oh, customer wants value. Yes, customer wants value, but who determines the value? So that's a question that you also need to think about. And if you have the answer, please put in the chat room and let's have discussions around it if possible. Okay, who determines value? Value is determined by the person that is paying for the good, because that's the value that the person sees in whatever it is you're producing. Now, a lot of this drives the way and manner that we produce and what we produce. It doesn't matter what sector of the economy that you're providing value, whether it is services, it is goods, it's manufacturing, FMCG, food, logistics, transportation, whatever area that you're providing service, somebody is definitely going to pay for that service. And that's what determines the perception of value that that person gets from you is what determines the real value that the person is willing to pay. Okay, so understanding how you provide the service to the customer so that the customer achieves what they want, it's always what drives you to the efficient part of your business. You need to provide the value to the customer without hurting yourself, getting the customer to get the best value from the goods while you are producing at the best cost and within the right time. And that's what's driving the efficiency. So where does it all start from? All of these discussions that we're having on customer value and determining where we are or where the customer is with the goods or service that we are providing. First of all, let's take some thoughts around this. How do we stay on the path of efficiency as a business? It's a question that I'm sure is on the mind of a lot of people. We're having soaring costs. Inputs, cost of inputs is forever going up. Logistics costs are forever going up. Staff costs are also going up. I saw in the last couple of days, a few states have come up to say, okay, people shouldn't work. Civil servants can stay at home 2 days in a week, but you have to choose which one. So you come only to work 3 times in a week. So the costs are going up as far as our people costs are concerned. How do we stay on the path of efficiency as a business without necessarily breaking our backs and still being able to derive value from the things that we do? A lot of us are very passionate about the things we do and the businesses, and I don't blame you. It's all because those are the things that keep you going. And the passion that you used to start the business is what's still sustaining you there. But you need to also make money from this business. So how do we stay on the path of efficiency as a business? The other question that comes to mind again when we look at this is, what does efficiency mean to everyone? I'm sure if I ask this question, people would have answers. If you have an answer to this, can you go to the chat room and just put it in there, what efficiency means to you? If you're going to use a word to describe efficiency, what word would it be? Or if it's a phrase, what phrase would that be? Efficiency. Put it in there. Let's say it. If you can put in for those who are connected to Zoom, please also put in the Zoom in the Zoom chat room what efficiency means to you. And for those who are on YouTube, also put on there what efficiency means to you. I'll give a couple of seconds for you to articulate that and put in the chat room what it means to you. Okay, I see some people said productivity, some say customer satisfaction, some says seamless, some say productivity, some say quality, quality service and satisfaction to customer, efficiency, and so on, and so on, and so on. Efficiency typically talks about, thank you for all of those answers. Simply talking about doing things right to achieve the right result. So there's something that you have told yourself that you want to set out. There's a certain kind of result that you want to get. Doing things right to achieve those results and get the benefits from it. Of course, taking into account costs and the time to deliver it. The introduction of the elements of cost and time, it's what brings the efficiency out of it. So in all of these things, I've set out to provide food for the community. Say, I don't know, I like food. I like food. In fact, I don't mind the fact that I'm not bigger than this. I'm a foodie. I like good food. But hey, I've set out to provide food. At what point can I tell myself that I'm efficient? At what point can I tell myself that I'm getting the benefits from the service that I'm producing? Everything that I put into the service must, of necessity, be able to deliver value to the customer and also be able to also deliver value to me. So delivering value to the customer and delivering value to me is what makes the system efficient. So having that in mind, to say, doing the right things to achieve the right result, get the benefits from it, taking into account cost and time. Okay. So, we'll now talk about, in all of this, the place where you can have, if you look at your operations process, so you look at the process of operations, it starts from somewhere and it ends somewhere. Where does it start from? It starts from you taking your resources, your raw materials, and then taking them through a process, taking it through a process of transformation, and then it comes up to your product or your service. So you come up with goods or you come up with service. But you've taken that initial resource. It doesn't matter whatever it is. If it is service, say you're providing a bespoke tailoring service. You're taking the materials brought by somebody. You're taking it through a process of transformation from the material that it is into a wearable garment that the customer desires. So there's a design, and then you take it through the tailoring service, through the tailoring process, and then you come up with the garment that the person would eventually go home with and go out to a party, to the office, to wherever with. Now, in providing this service, there's a part of the raw material resource that you're bringing, and then there's a part of your expertise of designing, of cutting, and of sewing which you use to transform the clothes, and then you put it. That's a part of your value addition. So as you add the value to it, it brings out a product or it brings out a service at the end of the day that the customer can take advantage of and can use. Now, if you're looking at all of this, the raw material is finite. The products or service that you're bringing out at the end of the day is also something that we can predict. The part where we have issues is the part of transformation to say, how do we take this through this process in the best way within cost and at the right time in order for us to be able to deliver the product and service that is required at the end. Now, it is managing this process that creates that efficiency that helps us to derive the benefits from our process and our solution, our operations process, and the expertise that we put into it to get the right results, which is the right product or the right service into the market. Of course, your resources refer to your labor, your materials, your finance, equipment, everything that you have that goes into, that you use to produce your goods and your services. And the point of managing those processes well, it's what leads to efficiency at the end of the day. Operations, in order for you to go into that journey of efficiency, operations management sits right in the center of everything that you do. So you're managing your raw material input, managing the process of transforming the raw materials, managing how you even, in fact, because that's from the raw material, how do you get the raw material? What kind of raw materials are you getting? Who is providing that raw material to you? At what costs? What conditions are you storing the material so that it doesn't go bad or it doesn't have issues by the time you need it? Things around transportation of the raw material, both from the supplier and from the warehouse to the place where you are producing. All of this are, from the beginning of managing your operations. And then it now goes into the process of transformation. So when it goes into the process of transformation, what processes are you utilizing in order for you to be able to get the benefit at the end of the day and get the output out the way you want it, or the way the market wants it, sorry. Because for me, it's what determines what you produce should be what the market really wants. A lot of times we produce things ourselves which reflect what we want, but it might not be what the market wants. The beautiful part of it is if the market wants exactly the same thing you are producing, excellent. But if the market doesn't want that, you need to find out from the market what exactly the market wants, and the market is able to take in terms of what the market wants to pay. When you get that, then it's easier for you to produce, and then the market absorbs all of those things. Where entrepreneurs have issues, which is one of the first things that you should consider in operations management, is producing for a market that is non-existent. For goods and services that the market wants, you will forever have make money from that business. But if you're not sure and you haven't done your homework well to know the way the market wants your goods or service, then there's a challenge. All right, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so getting all of these things out, designing the product, manufacturing them, putting the right processes, getting your factory systems working, or your production systems in the way that you want them and in the place that you want them, provides all of these things, and operations management sits right in the middle of it. And when you run your operations well, then it helps you to deliver value at the end of the day. Okay, so generally speaking, operations management is an area of management that helps in the designing, controlling the process of production, and also helps in the case where you find that the operation is not efficient enough, or your production system is not efficient enough. How do you redesign your operations so that when you produce the good and service, it is provided and it works just like the market wants it? Now, you'll notice that I keep going back to the way the market wants it. And that's because if whatever it is that you're producing, even if it's in your own view, the best of qualities, if the market does not see it as such, then it's a waste of time and waste of resources. The market must substantially see it as that. And I usually ask this question to people at this point. How comes you have the same products, the same active ingredients? So I use pharmaceuticals, the same active ingredients in the thing. So let's say paracetamol, a PCM. It's the same PCM that is in the regular off-the-shelf, on the street paracetamol. The same paracetamol active ingredient in it is the same one that is in such as an Emzor, the Panadol. I don't know whichever brand name that you have, but some command more monetary value in the market than some other ones. And you ask yourself, why? It's because somebody has sat down, designed the product, and then put some perception of value around it, which helps them to build a brand and then gets them out at the end of the day. Now, in building that consciousness in the mind of the customer, it also goes to say, our production process is different. Even if it's the same, the active ingredient is exactly the same, but the perception in the market is completely different from what the other products have. And because of that, they're able to devise or to garner a lot of huge followership, and then the product becomes a different, becomes the household name for that particular active ingredient. Now, when you're having all of this, it's always important for you to go back, take a step back, and look at your operations, look at the ways, ask yourself, how is it different from what this other person is producing? How is my product different from this person? And redesign your operations in such a way that it gives you that ability to be able to command that value at the end of the day. Now, when you look at the whole concept of the firm, one place that you actually have all the control is within the confines of managing your operations. And in terms of content, I'm going to spend a bit of time on this because this defines everything that we're talking about in order for you to be able to drive to efficiency. Now, and I'll start from the inputs and outputs. Usually in my physical classes, I use this as the first one. So talk about where it starts from. I said it starts from the market, and when it's starting from the market, that dovetails back to your inputs, because once you know what the market wants, then you know where to go to get the right inputs. And when I talk about inputs, I usually ask a question, and I don't know how many people would like to join me in that debate today to say, does the ingredient make the cook, or does the cook make the ingredient? I'll repeat it again. Does the ingredient make the cook, or does the cook make the ingredient? If it was a physical class, this is a nice place for us to have a debate, so we can divide the class into two. One side will say the ingredient makes the cook, the other side says the cook makes the ingredient. Now, the interesting part of this is understanding that you need the right inputs, the right quality of inputs, the input in the right condition, in the right proportion, handled by the right person to be able to get the required output. But if you have all the expertise in this world and the input is wrong, you can't get there. I always use an example of a particular, I use the example of a particular lady who sells rice I don't know if you see, I'm using food example again, because I like food. Okay, this lady uses, okay, I'm seeing this interesting thing in the chat room, and people go, be very careful before you answer this question. The ingredients making the cook or the cook making the ingredients, because I've seen a lot of people saying things. Okay, now this lady sells rice in Surulere, and that's in Lagos, Nigeria. And the interesting part of this woman's food is that the taste is very consistent. I've eaten that food for several years. This taste has been very, very consistent. This woman starts cooking around 12 noon, finishes cooking at around 2:30, and 2:30, 3 o'clock, that's when she closes cooking. And by 5 p.m., the food is gone, all gone. And then, people will wonder how. I have a friend that I took to the place sometime back. This is maybe some 9-10 years ago that I took this gentleman to the place. And interestingly, he still sends his driver to the place today. Big man, big man. Still sends his driver there. So why? The food is so consistent. And like I always tell people, the food has a soul. I got so, carried away that I had to ask her one day. The social scientist in me went to ask the question. So what makes your food, have this unique taste? And then the woman laughed and told me that every day, this woman cooks from Monday to Friday, starts selling at around 3 o'clock, starts cooking at about 12, starts selling at about 3 o'clock. She said every day she leaves her house at 5 a.m. She leaves her house at 5 a.m. She goes to somewhere, there's a place in Lagos where they sell fresh tomatoes, fresh peppers, straight from the farm. Buys from them, and then drives straight to the abattoir, where the meat is just slaughtered fresh. And she buys those, comes back. She has a select type of oil that she uses. She doesn't use just anyhow oil. A select type of oil that she uses, and then she cooks. Very little additives like MSGs and stuff, like very little. That's if she even uses at all, But the food has a certain taste. And by the time I isolated everything, I discovered that her choice of ingredients, the freshness of that ingredient, is what makes that food retain that quality that we, the customers, have come to know and see. So your input, the quality of ingredients that you use, determines the quality of output that you get. Some people are interested in the location of the place because of the way I'm talking about the food. Don't worry, you can see me offline and we'll talk about it. Now, no matter how good you are, no matter how excellent your processes are, if you don't have the right input, you're never going to get the right quality of output. And that will affect the way your production comes out at the end of the day. And you probably won't be able to make money from doing it. Okay? So you move from input output, you move to resources. Now, your resources in this case includes everything that you will use to process the inputs. So you talk about your machinery, your equipment. Is it the right type? Is this set in the right mode? Are you Do you have the right processes to, go through it? So I was talking to someone who makes smoothie, and the lady told me that she uses a particular kind of blender because that blender gives the kind of output that is required. So the equipment has to be right, the resource has to be right, and the human, which is one aspect that a lot of us don't really care about. The human operating the equipment must have the right skills, the right education. Now, when I say education, I don't mean a university degree or whatever, but the right training that is required. So you need to have the right education, have the right training, have the right motivation. And I talk about, and here I keep, I try to make this very clear. If your staff does not have the right motivation, there's just no way that staff is going to work the way you want the staff to work to achieve the right result. All of these things together is what makes up the resources and helps you to achieve the right output that the market, going back to the market again, that the market is looking for. A lot of us, and this I say with a lot of caution and a lot of humility. A lot of us hand equipment that are worth several millions of naira to people who don't have a stake in whether the equipment runs well or it doesn't run well. So you give an equipment worth about 50 million naira to somebody who earns 15,000 naira a month, and you think the person is going to work well and handle that equipment right. Oh no. I usually have this conversation with people who run logistic businesses and give those huge trailers of 50, 55 million naira and give it to people that they pay 25,000 naira a month. And you think that the trailer won't lose one tire on the way, or that the trailer will not break down and the guy will be looking for how to pay for money from you. I remember in one of my former lives, I worked with someone, a very prominent Nigerian. I was running one of his companies for him. And for his 75th birthday, this gentleman bought for himself as a birthday gift. At that time, Maybachs were very popular in Nigeria. So he bought a Maybach for himself, the stretch type, the limo type. Bought himself a stretched Maybach, and then he had paid for the equipment, and we're waiting for it so that he can come in time for the 75th birthday celebration. And then we discovered that the people were not willing to release the equipment and ship it because they needed to have some assurances. And part of the assurances that they were the things that, in fact, every other thing, they knew that they had all the answers. So they were asking us things around, is there a Mercedes-Benz service center around you that can handle the S-Class? And, we answered all of those questions. And then they asked us the question around who exactly would drive the car, the individual who's going to drive the car. And then we sent the guy, we sent the name of the guy. They asked us to send the guy's CV. And I didn't realize that a driver would need a CV, but we sent the CV. The gentleman got the CV. They got the CV of the gentleman, and then they sent us another email asking us how much was the person paid. And I'm like, what's this guy's business about how much the person is paid? But they insisted. And when we sent the amount, which we inflated, sent the amount to them, they came back to us and said, no, that this is too low for the person who is going to drive this type of car. That if you want the guy to if you want the car to ship, we need to commit to paying the guy a certain amount of money. At that time, I think they sent the dollar. At that time, it was equivalent of 150,000 naira. This was in 2004. This was a driver who was earning like 30,000 naira. We had told them that the guy would, was earning about 40,000 just to make it look good. And they insisted that the guy had to earn a certain amount of money and insisted on training the guy themselves. So we had to send the guy for training. So having all of this, it just dawned on me that these people didn't want somebody who didn't have a stake in something to drive the car, so that the car doesn't break down the road and then give them a bad reputation, or have a situation where have a situation where the guy doesn't take care of the car adequately because he didn't have a stake in it. So these are issues that you look at. Now, if you spend that initial money or put the person on the path of ensuring that the person has a stake in the car, what it does for you is that it increases the person's ability to look after that car or that equipment well, because he knows I have something at stake. So we need to watch all of that and ensure that if we're going on the path of sustainability or on the path of efficiency, we need to create all of this. So you ask yourself again, what strategy will I adopt in managing my operations so that it could, be efficient? There are some things that you are better suited to providing yourself. So you ask yourself, what are those things that I'm very good at? And then concentrate on those ones. And every other thing that you are not, maybe you consider to also farm it out to somebody who can do it better than you can, okay? Taking into account the fact that your operation process will take X amount of time, and as it's taking those amount of time, you're factoring in the fact that there's an external component to your operations into it. What that will do for you, if you farm out the things that somebody can do better than you, is that it cuts the time that you struggle with that aspect of your operation. And then, of course, also helping you to increase your efficiency. I had an encounter with a client sometime last year. It was my first time of actually visiting their factory. And I discovered that they manufacture packaging. And I discovered that the longest part of their business process or their manufacturing process was the initial cutting of the materials. One, they didn't have the right equipment. Two, they were only restricted to the amount of things that they're producing. So taking time to invest in that equipment, there was really no need for it. And because they were doing manual cutting and all of that, the time also that is used is a lot longer than what they should have actually spent on that particular process. So we advised, why don't you look for someone who has the right equipment and who has bigger operations and can accommodate you within their own operations. And they looked for somebody, they did that, and that cut their production time by at least 2 days for a certain quantity. So what that means is that they can actually produce more, because now they have an aspect of the process that is handled by somebody else who, in fact, they didn't need more space to store the raw materials, because what they do is where they source the raw materials, they just take it straight to the factory where that part is being operated for them or cut for them. And then the cut goods are just shipped down to them. Now, when you have that, it's a lot easier for you to start to perfect the things that you can do well, and then put more of your people in producing things that will help you to scale better, rather than struggling with having somebody struggle with, because when you have someone who is struggling with that aspect that you're not so good at, or you're not well equipped to do, what now happens is that the person the people that you put on that, you can put them on other things that will make you to scale better. Now, the question that people would always ask when I talk about this is, they ask me, so how do you guarantee that the right standard or the right quality is achieved by the third party? That's where you have a role. So you put someone to handle quality assurance from that person's side. So rather than having 4 people struggling with this operation here, have only one person that will go and sit down with those people and assure. And you can even put systems in place to tell them, look, if this thing falls short of this standard, then you're not paying, you have to replace the thing for me and all of that. But if you have set it up properly, I don't think you would have much issues with it. Then you ask yourself again, how do I plan my operations? What sort of things? And planning includes all the things that have to do with sourcing, the kind of information that you need. And this is where data and analytics come well into play, to say, what's the time that we use to produce these goods? From one process to the other, what's the throughput? How long does it take? From one segment to the other, how many people do I need? Now, as you're gathering this data along the way, they are helping you in taking decisions in how to make those processes, make all of them more efficient so that there are no downtimes between processes for you. Now, the downtimes, a lot of people don't realize it, that the downtimes that you have in setting up processes, the downtimes that you have actually go a very long way in determining the costs that you have, that you would spend on producing those goods and also services, especially for those who are in services. It's very difficult for you to measure the time that is spent on particular processes, especially when you are farming it out to other people. So all of those things are important. Your planning, extremely important. And then how do you oversee to ensure that these processes are running the way they need to run? Now, all of these things need you to sit on top of them. As you gather the data, what are you doing with them? You're making that data to take quality decisions on your whole process. You know, we're talking about operating to, for efficiency, ensuring that your processes are very efficient. If you don't have a process where you would oversee, then there's a problem along the way. Of course, we'll talk about all of these things that we've talked about, from input to all the way to overseeing, have cost elements attached to them. The other part of it is, how do you control all of these whole processes? Everything that we've talked about, how do you control them? And then so that you ensure that these things are running the way they need to go. So I watched an advert a few years ago of, I don't know how many of us know the Skoda brand of cars. This advert was actually meant to be a marketing advert, but I saw operations management. They always say that you will see the things that you want to see. I saw operations management in it, especially the area of quality control and how to ensure that the processes are properly controlled. So this gentleman was just employed on the Skoda assembly line, and his job was to place the crest, the Skoda crest, in front and at the back of all the cars that were rolling by. Now, if you've ever been to a car assembly plant, you will know that it's built to accommodate all the different models of the cars that they're producing. So they can quickly do swaps and produce this and produce that. Anyway, this gentleman stood there and held the crests in his hand. When the car rolls by, he would affix the crest in front. The car rolls, he puts it at the back. And that one rolls and goes on. The next one comes. So the first car that came is the entry level Skoda, which was a Skoda Fabia. The Fabia came, he did what he was supposed to do, he rolled by, and then a few more Fabias came and rolled by. Then the Skoda Octavia came. The Octavia, the guy did what he was supposed to do, a few more Octavias rolled by, the front and out the back. Then as they kept moving, and there comes the almighty Skoda Superb. As the Skoda Superb came, the guy was looking at the car from afar, and he looked at it, looked at the crest he had, looked at the car. When the car got in front of him, he looked at the crest again, looked at the car, looked at the crest, looked at the car, and just shook his head that, no, this cannot be a Skoda. So the car moved on because there's a timing. There's a timing that the car has to stay there for it to be affixed with the crest in front and at the back. As the car rolled by, the guy just stood there and shook his head that this cannot be a Skoda. And then the car got to the point where the quality control line was. And because the factory is automated or semi-automated, that's why you still have a man sticking crest in front and at the back. As the thing got to the assembly, the point of the assembly where the quality control counts all the components of the car, the laser beam noticed that the crest wasn't there and the quality control alarm went off. The voice of the person came up and said, even our employee does not believe it's a Skoda. Now, it might have been a good advert for the Superb to say the Superb was very good, but it taught me a lesson in setting up operations in such a way that there's a control along the line that tells me that something is not particularly right. And I'll need to take it back and rework it. So in all of our operations, to ensure that we've gone towards efficiency, we need to ensure there's a quality control point where every one of the processes, in fact, my coaching is that at every point of your production process, every point, let there be quality control as you go along the way. And then the requirements. So requirements puts together everything that, it touches on the input, touches on the resources, touches on strategy, the planning, the things that you require. Now, all of this, you can actually put together in an automated form, such a way that you have points at which you gather data, and those data you can analyze, and then it helps you to get value from the things that you are running at the end of the day. Okay, so this talks about a lot of things on the nature of businesses and the nature of transformation that you put on it. You know your business, you know the things that you do. It helps you to drive towards efficiency. I'd like to just talk basically about a few things, and then we can close this discussion because we are fast running out of time. Okay, now, in setting up your operations to get the business in an efficient way, a number of things that you need to consider. So I'll talk about the functions to have in mind, and then we can just take time off for questions, and if there are questions and answers. First of all, is in terms of where do you locate your facilities? I usually have debates and discussions with people around this. We talk about, okay, so which one works well? Locating near market, locating near raw materials. And then the general consensus is usually you need, depending on what you do, you need to ask yourself which one pays more. So for people who have bulky raw materials, so maybe you want to think around locating closer to the source of raw materials. For those who don't, maybe you can take it away from the source of raw materials, locate close to where the market is. But these days, it really doesn't matter anymore, because right now you can actually do most of your selling online. and then it's easier for you to just produce and transport to and ship to the place, depending on the things that you're producing. Your location really also depends on the kind of product and the service that you're providing. I always tell people that if you have a dine-in restaurant or food facility, so you've provided an ambience and you want people to come in and dine in there, then three things are very important: location, location, location. If you have a takeaway business, you don't have any business at any location. What you have is just have a good kitchen somewhere, and then you have the means to transport the food to the people who will be buying from you. Okay, so I'm using food example again, but it's okay, you know, where people who buy from you. So all of these things are, you need to be mindful of them because they have a way of stretching your costs and also elongating the time that you will use to service your customer. Okay, when you take thoughts around those, it's easier for you to move in. Selecting the kind of processes that you use is also very important because it could be the, it can be the link between being efficient and being inefficient. The type of processes, are you running manual? Are you running automated? You need to also be very careful about that. If you're doing a mix of both, that's also a consideration to give. But if you are going to automate, you need to ask yourself, so if I'm automating, how do I get electricity to power the thing? So am I relying on NEPA? Am I going for generators, or do I want to think of alternative power? Is it gas? Is it diesel? Is it solar? You know, all of these things are important in order for you to select the kind of processes that you use. And you also need to ask yourself, what extra does it add to it? Does it help me to scale fast, or is it just for the ambience, or for the heck of it? That's why I need to do all of this. What kind of technologies are you using? That also is another consideration, another things that you need to have in mind. And in selecting technology, you also need to be very careful about what you select so that you don't have a technology that doesn't add value to your customer delivery, customer service delivery. And I'll give one example that is very glaring to everybody. A number of banks today have the cash acceptor. So that ATM where you go and you pay money inside. The question you need to ask yourself is, how many people use those things? It's a redundant technology as far as I'm concerned. So for banking services, that technology is redundant. I would rather put my money on ATMs where when people come to use them, there's a possibility of me, after the third withdrawal, making 65 naira per withdrawal. I'd rather do that because that keeps me on the path of making more money and being efficient. Okay. All right. So you need to be very, very careful about that. The final thing I'm going to talk about is arranging layouts. As seemingly unimportant as this looks, it can be the difference between your being efficient and your being inefficient. And I'll tell you simply how. So I have a 5 steps process. Step 1 leads to step 2. Step 2 leads to step 3. Step 3 leads to step 4. Step 4 leads to step 5. Now, I arrange my layout in such a way that step 1 and step 2 are like 50 meters apart. Meanwhile, I could save time if I put step 2 2 meters or 3 meters away from step 1. As long as the processes do not interfere with themselves, it's always better to arrange the next one close to the other one so that it's the movement of inputs from one step to the other is fast, and it cuts down the time, that lag time in between it. A lot of us don't take cognizance of those things, but there are some of the things that kill our production process or our operations process, which makes things linger on and on and on and on and on for a long time. And thereby we lose time and lose costs in trying to do this. In rounding up all of these discussions, it's interesting to set up operations to be efficient. It's possible to do it, even with all the constraints that we have in our environment. But it's just important for us to be mindful of all the little things that we have talked about. If you notice that I have not used all those long OM operations management terms, and it's deliberate. It's just for us to be able to see them the way they are. There are things that we do on a daily basis, and as we apply our hearts to them, they will help us to save time, save costs, and also be able to guarantee the quality that the customer is looking for, not the quality that we want. Because if we want the quality and the customer doesn't want the quality, you are your own. You are the one, it's you that will finish utilizing the goods because the customer won't pay for it. But if you want the customer to pay for it, you have to strive to provide the quality that the customer is looking for. So where does it start from? In rounding up, where does it start from? It starts from the customer. It starts from us understanding what exactly the customer wants. What's the thing that the customer is looking for? What problem does the customer want to solve, and how does the customer want to solve that thing? And then we can backtrack into our own operations system and then ask ourselves, how do we provide this service or this product to the customer in a way that is within time and is within cost for us to be able to get the benefit of profit at the end of the day. Thank you so much. And I'm open to questions and comments as I close up. Halima, over to you.
Very much, Mr. Ladipo, for that very, very insightful and well-detailed session. I hope that everyone has been taking notes. I have. You see my book. It's very. I was just scribbling everywhere. So I hope we have also all been taking notes. And don't forget that we have some prizes available for 10 lucky ladies on this session. We'll be coming to the Q&A session. Oh, Oba says she loves being a woman. Thank you, W. Awesome. So we'll be coming to the Q&A session in a few minutes. In the meantime, I will just be sharing the presentation about her venture and then about how basically we can be part of it and get more insights and also be able to win some of these prizes that we have available. So I hope we all can see my screen. So I'll just be talking briefly about the Her Venture Learning app. It is an app also for women entrepreneurs. And for this segment, we're also offering some gifts for 10 lucky ladies. So during this webinar, we'll be announcing 5 lucky women who would be winning 2,000 Naira airtime by just downloading and registering on the app. So we'll be announcing that before the end of this webinar session. And then 5 other lucky ladies would also be winning some other prizes. And that will be done online through the W community page. And we have, for the online one, we have 5 lucky winners would win. 1 lucky lady would win the one-on-one free advisory session. 2 ladies would win a social media optimization for your business. So if you have not really been active on social media, we'll be able to help you optimize that. And then 2 other ladies would be winning 2 social media flyers promotional flyers for their business, as well as sponsored ads. So what is the HerVenture app? Well, it is an innovative micro-learning app by the Sierra Blair Foundation for Women in partnership with ExxonMobil Foundation and the Enterprise Development Center. So this was currently first launched in 2019, and since then we have over 25,000 Nigerian women who are currently using the app. And one good thing is about the app is that there's an online community whereby we can also engage and also share experiences with other women across Nigeria. So what are some of the problems that we had identified? So the app identified that there was a challenge in terms of access to funding. So as women entrepreneurs, we may face challenges in accessing funding and also knowledge. So yes, in as much as there's knowledge out there, but it can also mean knowledge overload. So how are we able to get bite-sized, innovative ways of learning how to basically run a business and also being financially literate? And of course, there are some problems of lack of support as well as socioeconomical issues. So what are some of the benefits of registering on the HerVenture app? So it's easy to understand. It's very simple, data friendly. You would not be using a lot of data to register on the app. Once you download and register, you can actually work on it also offline. So it's fun, interactive, and also have activities that are very interesting, and you would also be able to swipe left or right. So it's gamified, and each lesson takes about 4 to 8 minutes to complete. So what are you able to do? You're able to connect with women in entrepreneurs across various industries. You can achieve tokens and progress levels to unlock rewards, such as different gifts, like we mentioned earlier on. And you can also ask questions around maybe some of the challenges that you're having, and then you'll be able to get responses as well. So how would you be able to use the app? So once you go to your iOS or Google Play Store, you'll be able to download this. Once you just search on HerVenture and click on the link to download and register. Users, we may decide to have a personalized learning journey. So for example, if you have not started a business, if you have not registered a business, or maybe you're in the process of registering your business and you don't have a CC registration, you'll be able to personalize your learning journey so that it can be tailored to you and what you need for your business. And you can also earn tokens as you swipe along. So like I mentioned earlier, the lessons are very short and insightful and also locally based. So you have local context-based case studies. So you can see on the top right of my screen, Ejiro dreams of starting her own business. So we have lessons around that and using local-based content. And then also it's gamified. And like I mentioned, you also get to earn tokens and also as you network one as well. So some of the learning tracks available on the app is launching a business, expanding the business operations, accessing finance, also building resilience in the crisis. So how are you able to counteract some of those challenges that maybe you may be facing in your business and may not be something that you're usually used to? So you'd have strategies on how you'd be able to do that. Digital marketing. Do you have a digital marketing strategy? How are you able to implement it? Have you even been implementing it? Are you able to use data to also know what to do and what not to do? So these are some of the questions and things that the app would bring up to you. So like I mentioned, there are swipeable cards. So when you have quizzes and action plan summaries, so you do not need to actually read long case studies. This app is simple. So on the right side of my screen, you can see how long have you been in business. So you can either swipe left or right, depending on what particular stage you're in business. And I mean, it's a way to also enjoy and build your skills while making it enjoyable, flexible, and fast. So I would encourage us to go onto our iOS or Android store. So after the Q&A session, we'll be announcing the winners, the 5 lucky winners who will be going on to winning the airtime. And then afterwards, we'll also be doing a session whereby online on the W community. So for you to be able to stand a chance to win those other prizes I mentioned, which is the social media optimization and such, the criteria to win that particular one would be for you to download and register on the HerVenture app. go ahead and follow the W Community and Enterprise Development Center. And also you should get a W debit card. So those are some of the criteria for you to have to be able to get the prizes for the online trivia. So hurry along and go ahead and download that while we move over to the next segment, which is the Q&A session. So I'd like to invite Mr. B. Oladipo back here so that he'll be able to answer some of the questions that we may have around operations management. So Mr. Oladipo, are you still with us? So you're muted.
I'm muted. I've been enjoying the Hub venture.
If only it was his venture, but
I don't know why it's this getting biased now.
Well, blessed are you
venture. So I'm blessed amongst women, I know.
Yes. So we have a few questions. So we have a question. Could you please give an example of arranging layouts?
Okay, arranging. I tried to do that during the discussions, which is you break your processes into little bits. So one leads to the other. You try to arrange similar layout, similar processes around themselves. So I'll give an example. So you have someone who cuts a fabric and the person who joins the arm. If the next thing is to join the arm, make sure that the person who is joining the arm is closer to the person who cuts. And then like that until you get the full, what's the next process? What's the next process? Now, when you do that and they are closer to themselves, moving the materials from the first point to the other, it's a lot easier, and then it follows the natural order of the process. And that's the concept that is used in industrial machines, whereby they put all the processes, they arrange the machines in such a way that the processes feed into themselves until you get to the end where the end product comes out. So the whole idea is for you to reduce the time that it takes to move materials from one point to the next point where it's needed. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oladipo, for that answer. And we still have a few more questions coming in. So someone says, is environment an important factor in running your operations?
Oh, sure. Environment is a very important factor. There was a portion that I didn't get to, which is the portion of talking about ergonomics. Ergonomics refer to how conducive that environment is to make it easier for people to work. The example that I gave you about the gentleman, I saw in the chat that somebody was asking how much did the driver eventually get paid. I mentioned it. I said the guy was paid 150,000 naira in 2004. And not only did, when the guy went for training, not only did they increase the guy's salary, did we increase the guy's salary? Well, they also gave the guy a uniform, which made that, brought a lot of prestige around the thing that the guy did. And then it made him have a sense of belonging to it. The environment that you put people, it could be in terms of the kind of seats that they use, the lighting that you give, makes them more relaxed to work, and also helps in productivity. So it's about targeting how productive your people will be and making it convenient for them. There's been a lot of studies around ergonomics for how machines and people interacted, how easy, something as simple as how do you place your hand around the keyboard to type, and how the keyboard is shaped, or the mouse is shaped in such a way that it makes it easier on your muscles, and then you can be more productive and can type faster. Those things are very important as far as your productivity is concerned. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So we have two other questions. Before I read them out, please, for all of us downloading the app, kindly note that to be eligible to be selected for the prize, you have to download and register on the app. I can see a lot of us are downloading the app. And then for the other question around the criteria to win the other business or the other criterias, we mentioned download and register on the app, be following the W Community and Enterprise Development Center, and also get a W debit card. So we would also put in the chat box how to get the W debit card, so that we also have that information handy. So back to the question, it says, in selecting your processes, does it help you to scale fast? And then Mercy also asked, for a gardening business, how can you arrange your layout?
Okay, in selecting, I'll answer the processes one first. In selecting your processes, does it help you to scale fast? I will say yes. I will say yes, because you'll be working with people who are more suitable to delivering on the things that you are farming out to them. I gave you the example of the packaging company that I worked with, who was struggling. They were actually struggling. That was where you had a bottleneck in their process. And it was, interestingly, it was the first part of the process that had that bottleneck. So every other person will wait until they finish cutting that's, the shape that they wanted. And that's disturbed how the operation was running, how smoothly and efficiently the operation was running. But the moment they removed that and outsourced it to somebody who had better equipment, who was more suited to doing it, they were able to produce more, because those equipments ran those things. So where they were struggling to do like 1,000 pieces in 5 days, with the new guys and removing all the people that were cutting and putting them on the other part of production, increases their capacity and their ability to produce more. So those guys cut for them, and the same set of people were now producing about, instead of 1,000 in 5 days, we're producing 2,000 in 5 days. So it helps you in how you increase your production capacity. And as you do that, then you're able to make more money, and then you can increase the size of your factory and all of that. But that also depends on your scaling strategy. On the gardening, I don't know too much about gardening really, but I can say my advice to you would be, look at your processes from beginning to the end, and then look at which one dovetails into the other, which one feeds the other, and put similar processes around themselves, so that you cut the time that it takes to move between one and the other, because that's what you're trying to do, to run it more efficiently. All right.
All right, thank you very much. We have a question from, the next question is from Koinsola, and she says, if capital is a major issue in launching a business, what advice would you give as regards to that?
If capital is a major issue?
Yes. How should they go about starting the business, basically?
To start, okay. So what I always advise people to do is start with what you have and see how you get traction. So you test the market. It's like putting one foot in the water to be sure that you don't get too cold. Okay, by the time you put a foot in it, see the acceptance in the market, you can put the second one, and then you can now start swimming. But most of the time, we don't start because we think that we don't have capital. You need to look inward and ask yourself, what do I have that I can start with? Depending on what it is that you're doing. As you go, you develop traction. Once you build the traction, it's easier to attract more capital. And you can talk to Access Bank with the W initiative. I'm sure they can help you if it's something that actually has a good traction, or that's the potential for good traction. I'm sure everybody wants to make money, so they will also be able to assist you doing that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oladipo, for that. And Jamila asks, for small business starters, there is a challenge of certification, say NAFDAC, but people sell their goods without this certification, especially online. What's your take on this?
The challenge with selling uncertified product is that you would have a cap on scale. You can't really scale. You can't be everywhere, because very soon somebody's going to clamp down on you. So my coaching to you would be, go look for the certification. These days, the requirement for certification is not as stringent as it used to be, especially when you look for the, even if you don't have the factory or a facility that you can bring them to, there are incubation centers where you can go to set up these things. You have, if you're in Lagos, there's Firo, there's somewhere around Agege, which I'm not sure the exact place now, but I know a couple of people who have set up there, which can, and there's usually the state and the federal ones where you can use. All you need to do is bring your small equipment there, and you are on. And also, you can also look for someone who you can use their facility to produce. NAFDAC will do that certification for you if you have a place where you can produce. Okay, so those are the things. You need to look around you and see who you can partner with that will help you to get the certification. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much for that answer. And that leads me to the next question we have in the chat box. So you mentioned, having partners. So Josephine is asking, please, how do you trust the person to partner with in business?
How do you trust the person to partner with in business? That's a very big question. And I also like to ask, how do you trust the person that you got married to? It's the same principle. I always say this, that when you're partnering with someone, don't look at the hard part of it. Look at, is this person the kind of person that I would like to live with? I still gave this example to someone 2 days ago, that if you want to know the values that somebody believes in, go and play a game with the person. Play a game with the person. If the person is someone who cheats, you will know very easily that the person cheats. So you need to look at those things. Does this person have what I need? Does this person share the same kind of values with me? If it doesn't, maybe you shouldn't start. And you keep looking for someone who shares your own kind of values. The important thing is to look for the right person. It's the same way we look for friends. The friends that stick with us who share the same kind of attributes like us and have the same kind of values, or also complement us. Those are the kind of things that you look out for. If the person is someone who can do anything for money, maybe he's not your right partner or she's not your right partner. But you need to watch people over a period and see what they do. The hard part of it, the technical part of it is important, but you also need to give heed to the soft part of it, because those ones are the things that actually determine if the partner is going to be someone who would remain with you for a while or not. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oladipo. So please be reminded, criteria to win other prizes for the giveaway is you need to be following the W community. You'd also need to be following the Enterprise Development Center, registered on the Haventure Learning app, and also get a W debit card. So those are the criteria. And then we'll be shortly announcing the winners for the airtime giveaway during this webinar session. And don't forget, you can also share these learning platforms and the different links for the different pages with your friends as well and family, so that they can also benefit from some of these things that the W Initiative and EDC are doing as well. So I have another question from Olamide. So she says, awareness and source of product have been a major issue for her, as well as capital. So what advice would you give her? As well as Gloria also says she has a business idea that is valuable, but how can she access startup funds? Sorry. Yes. So I know you had earlier answered this, but yeah, I'd just like to throw it back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Halima. What qualifies the idea as viable? Have you carried out any tests? Have you done any validation in the market? Do you think there's market for it? The idea might exist in your head, or you could even have put it down on paper and ask yourself and convinced yourself that it's an idea that is viable. But have you done any market tests or any surveys in the market? I don't want to use the word feasibility because that word has been abused a lot. Have you done any viability test? Is there anybody that is willing to pay for whatever it is that you have brought out? I will advise you to use the design thinking methodology to do this. So first of all, talk to people, find out their ideas around the idea that you have, and then define what you think, the problem you think you want to solve with this solution, and then go ahead and devise several ways that you can get this to the market, and then ask yourself, develop a prototype for it. Once you do the prototype, send it to the market for testing, let people validate it, and then you can now say, okay, you have a product that's viable, and you can start to look for funding. Nobody finances ideas. Okay, people finance something that they believe would have a traction, and when they believe in the person who is bringing it to the market. So one, you need to work on yourself. Two, you need to build the product or the idea to a point where it is sellable, and you can now start to look for. That's the first place to start from. The other question was on awareness and source of capital, as awareness of and source of product. I don't understand what that means. Has been an issue. I think what you're saying is creating an awareness for the product that you're. I think
that's what she meant. Sourcing, I guess sourcing is what she meant. Sourcing products.
I don't know what kind of product she's sourcing, but you need to be clearer with the question.
All right.
All right.
Final questions that we have are two very opposite questions. So Neka asks, how does one revive a failing business? Would relocation be a better option? And then Ganiat also asks, how would you ideally, how long does it take for a business to boom? So helping a failing business and also, getting a business to be successful.
How do you revive a failing business? First of all, you need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, what did we set out to do? Did we keep to it? If we did not, what happened? What were the issues? So you need to do a lot of introspection and a lot of research in the market around how you started. Most of the time, people get ideas and they start a business with it, and the business failed simply because of this thing I was talking about at the beginning, which is you did not validate in the market. You did not work with the market. And if you did work with the market at the beginning, did the taste of the customer change and you are unaware? All of those things could lead to a failing business. If it is not from the market, is it that I have not adopted proper operations management strategies practices in order for me to be able to feed the market? If I haven't done that, then these are all of these things. I might not be able to give you a clean-cut answer because I don't understand the extent of the issues. If I had an idea of what the issues were, I might be able to give you all my own ideas of it. What else? What's the last one, Halima?
The last question was, how do you know a business is successful? Like when?
How long does it take for the business to boom? Now, this is a very beautiful question because it depends from one business to the other. When you have your business plan, you know when where your break-even point is. Some businesses will say they are doing well if they are tracking well as far as their break-even point is concerned. Some businesses will set parameters on the number of customers that they need to have. Some businesses will set their threshold according to the amount of profit that they have generated. So it all depends on you. Different industries and different businesses have different parameters. You will just be the one that will determine what your own parameter is so that you can be able to measure your success as you see it. But it's always important for you to set those parameters and set those metrics so that you can measure your success at the point that you have. All right. I guess that's the last question. Thank you. And yes, I can have my rest now.
Thank you very much, Ms. Aladipo. It's been a very insightful and enlightening session. We have learned a lot from you, and I'm sure the ladies would also say the same thing. So for those joining us on Zoom and also the YouTube as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So we will now be announcing the 5 winners for those that registered and downloaded on the HealthVenture app. So this is random selection. Yes, for this webinar. And then the other 5 women would be chosen and also celebrated on the W Community's Instagram page. So that will still go on later today. So the 5 winners for the 2,000 Naira airtime giveaway are, drum rolls. So there is Abosede Gabriela Akinton. Are you online? If you're online, please say hi. Let us know that you're with us. And we have Remy as well. Remy Anue Bunwa. And then we have Oge Bliss. And then we have Ojo Ife Oluwa, as well as the Phenomenal Woman. So the Phenomenal Woman as well. So if you're on YouTube, kindly put in the chat box, let's know that you're with us, and congratulations on winning 2,000 Naira airtime for your phone. At least you can use calls for your business calls. Congratulations. I can see us online as well. So congratulations. Well done. And then please, for our other women, kindly remember that there's still a giveaway going on online as well. So if you follow the W Community Enterprise Development Center, get the W card, as well as download and register on the HealthVenture app, you would be eligible to win other prizes. So we mentioned the prizes: social media optimization, one-on-one business advisory, as well as 2 flyers for your business, as well as sponsored ads. So right now, I would like to invite the unit head of the W initiative, Bimpe Jisari, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you, Halima. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Adebi Oladipo. It was quite a sinful session. I had, just as Halima said, I also wrote a lot. Thank you for taking us through this session and teaching us like 5-year-old. It was quite nice. Right now I have a different meaning to efficiency. We're doing something right to achieve the desired results and getting benefit from it, taking in account of the cost and time. That was a new one for me. That was a new one. Thank you so much. And to believe that this is just day 1. This is Masterclass 2.0, day 1. Day 2 is going to be tremendous. It's going to be great. I hope everybody learned a lot today. I was also amazed at the questions, the quality of questions that came in. Thank you, Ms. Adebi. You did it well. Thank you for sharing your own wealth of knowledge and giving and teaching us very well, insightful, and not using sometimes we can use some technical languages that we lost and just be looking at you, but you broke it down, we understood, we could follow you through the processes, through your examples. It was quite nice. It was quite endearing. telling us what to do, how to go about it, what are the main important points, especially when you're locating your business, selecting your processes. Also telling us that your product is not in how your market view your product is the main thing. Yes, you may feel that your product is the best product, but does the market feel that your product is the best? So if giving you an insight that the end result, the customer is really the king in any of our processes, in any of our business dealings. So thank you so much. Guys, I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be great. Remember, everybody is looking for new markets. And tomorrow, the topic is assessing new markets. Everybody wants to grow. We want to scale up. This is an opportunity. Come and learn from the master, telling you what to do, what to look out for. I hope I'll see you tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to bring a new fresh book to take on my recordings, because also I want to scale up. See you there. Thank you, Halima. Thank you, everyone. To our winners, congratulations, congratulations. Look out for more winners on our YouTube page and our Instagram page. We'll be celebrating every winner. And remember, tomorrow we're having another set of 10 winners again. Don't be left out. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Bimpe, for that insightful and apt and closing remark. So like she mentioned, tomorrow day 2 will be packed of knowledge as well. And of course, like she mentioned, new markets is always very important. So what are some of the steps that you need to take to get yourself ready to access new markets? So let's be there. And as a way for us to also improve our services with the W initiative, they'll be dropping a feedback form in the chat box. Kindly let's all fill it so that they can know what areas you would like to more opportunities on, as well as what areas to improve on. And don't forget, the giveaways are still happening online. So kindly go onto the W community page so that you're able to participate as well. And like Bimpe mentioned, tomorrow we also have 10 lucky winners who would also be winning different prizes. So if you have forgotten to tell your friend about this masterclass, you can always invite them for tomorrow's session. So thank you very much and goodbye.
Is this you every time at the airport, waiting in distress when your flight gets cancelled? Or is this you waiting long queues to get a transaction done at the bank? You ought to be at the exclusive side of life, where we understand the luxury of time and privacy, going beyond to give you the best customer experience. From the ambience of our lounges with your favorite meals and drinks to keep you relaxed on your travels, to the comfort of our branch lounges to help you get your transactions done quickly and in style with a personal account officer. You can also use our priority service to fast-track all your transactions. As an Exclusive Plus member, you also enjoy unlimited access to all our lounges in over 1,200 locations around the world, free tickets to movie premieres, art exhibitions, and concerts, 24/7 access to medical experts, discounts on luxury hotels and restaurants. Join Exclusive Plus today. Visit our website to get started. Access. More than banking.
I see a light inside of you, so let it shine. It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky. Get you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go again. 'Cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. Don't let nothing push you down. Stand with the bow. Yes, we believe in you. Yeah. Don't you give up on yourself till the world knows who you are. Keep on shining. Get up, don't let nothing hold you. Get up right now, right now. Get up, don't let nobody tell you that you can't. There is greatness inside of you. You're the one that the world is waiting for. Every step you take, we go there, 'cause we believe in you. Say one day you go make a one day, one day, one day. One day you'll be like the sun. Say one day you go shine.
Access, more than banking.